You might be holding history and value in your pocket. A simple Lincoln penny could fetch hundreds or even thousands if it's the right year and condition. Let's dive into 5 specific dates: 1966, 1975, 1972, 1967, and 1962, and explore what makes each one tick and what they're really worth. The year 1966 was a transitional moment for the Lincoln cent and for American coinage overall. Collectors often glance over this date because the penny was struck in huge numbers and because no mint mark varieties were used in that year. Yet beneath the surface lies an important story of how the mint was operating under new conditions and how this coin came to symbolize the turbulence of its time. In 1965, the United States Mint stopped placing mint marks on coins, and this practice lasted until 1967. The reason was a combination of coin shortages and a belief that mint marks were causing collectors to hoard coins in unprecedented numbers. By removing mint marks, the government hoped to reduce the frenzy around particular issues and push coins back into circulation. That means every 1966 penny, whether it was struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, carries no visible mint mark. This decision is an essential part of the story because it makes the 1966 cent appear more common than it really is. The design itself carried forward the familiar Lincoln portrait, introduced in 1909 on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which had been introduced in 1959. The composition was still 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, which makes these coins heavier than the modern copper-plated zinc cents introduced in 1980. Collectors can often feel the difference in weight and tone when they handle one of these mid-century copper cents. The sound of the coin, when dropped on a table, also differs from modern cents, which is one subtle way numismatists distinguish older copper pennies from newer ones. Most circulated 1966 pennies are quite ordinary and worth only face value. However, the story does not end there. The value of a 1966 Lincoln penny depends heavily on condition and rarity of striking eras. Special mint sets were also produced during this year in place of proof sets. These SMS coins were struck with extra care using polished dies and higher pressure, which gives them sharper details than standard circulation strikes. The 1966 SMS pennies often show strong luster and attractive finishes, and high-grade examples can be very desirable. Among collectors, era coins are another major factor. A double-die example of the 1966 cent is known, and these are highly sought after. Double die refers to the doubling of design elements often seen on the date or lettering, and collectors will pay hundreds for such a coin, depending on grade. Off-center strikes, clipped plankets, and broad strikes are other era varieties that can give this otherwise common year special value. Now let us look at actual values. A typical worn 1966 penny from circulation is worth just a cent, perhaps two, if the coin is in extremely fine condition. When you move into uncirculated territory, the value increases. Mint state coins graded in the 60s may sell for a few dollars. Red examples in MS65 or MS66 condition can trade between $5 and $12 a gem. Red example graded MS67 is very rare, and auction records show that such coins can sell for over $1,000. One famous sale in 2012 saw a superb MS67 red bring more than $6,000 at auction, which stunned collectors and proved that condition can transform a common coin into a true prize. Special mint set examples also command attention. A 1966 SMS Lincoln penny in SP67 or higher can fetch strong prices, with cameo or deep cameo contrast bringing premiums. One such SMS coin sold for more than $2,000 in the early 2000s, showing that the SMS series is an important niche for collectors who want high-quality mid-60s coins. To summarize, the 1966 Lincoln penny is not rare in circulation. It holds a unique place in American coinage history because it was struck during the 3-year period when mint marks were omitted. This makes all examples look identical, But in reality, some came from different mints, with most pieces being only worth face value. Collectors often overlook this coin, yet those who search carefully may discover high-grade red mint state coin, special mint set varieties, or unusual mint errors. These can push the value from a few dollars all the way into the thousands. For everyday collectors, the 1966 penny offers a piece of mid-century history. It reflects a time when the mint was responding to economic pressures, coin shortages, and changing public behavior. While most pieces will never be worth more than a cent, a select few carry impressive premiums and stand as proof that even the most ordinary dates can hide treasures. Most are worth face value in circulation and circulated mint state. Examples can reach about $10 to $12. Exceptional red MS-67 coins have sold for several thousand. Special mint set examples with cameo finish can also sell for over $2,000. Next up, the 1975 Lincoln cent may not immediately strike collectors as a remarkable coin, but when we look deeper into its history, condition, rarity, and occasional surprises, it becomes a fascinating study in how small details separate common coins from hidden treasures. The year 1975 sits right in the middle of a period when the Lincoln Memorial reverse had been in use for over 15 years, and the coin was a familiar sight in every pocket purse and cash register across the United States. Millions of them were minted, and yet within those countless numbers, a select few pieces carry real value. First letters set the stage. The coin still followed the composition that had been in place since 1909, with 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This classic composition gives the coin a distinct weight and feel, and when handled it has a warmer tone compared to modern copper-plated zinc cents introduced in the early 1980s. The obverse continued to feature Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, which had now become one of the longest-running designs in American coinage history. The reverse carried Frank Gasparo's depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, with the tiny seated statue of Lincoln visible at the center when examined with a magnifying glass. Now to the minting itself. The Philadelphia Mint struck the bulk of the 1975 cents without a mint mark, while Denver issued coins with the small d mint mark under the date. The San Francisco had produced proof coins that year for collectors, which were struck with polished dies and multiple strikes to achieve brilliant finishes. Proof coins from San Francisco carry the S mint mark and are especially popular with hobbyists assembling complete Lincoln cent sets. In circulated condition, the 1975 penny is usually worth face value. Only most coins from everyday change are heavily worn, and unless they exhibit some special feature, they remain common. However, condition makes a tremendous difference. When a coin has survived with original red colorful luster and no major marks, it may grade mint state. These are the coins that collectors chase, and this is where value climbs. Auction records show that typical mint state examples in grades like MS-64 or MS-65 may bring between a few dollars and about $15. With MS-66 red examples, prices can push higher toward $20 or more. It is when we enter the upper echelons of grading like MS-67 or MS-68 that serious money comes into play. An MS-67 red 1975 penny can bring hundreds of dollars, and in some reported cases values have touched the four-figure mark, with a remarkable MS-68 red example once commanding nearly $4,000 at public auction. This demonstrates how scarce true gems of this date can be, and how much collectors are willing to pay for perfection. The proof coins of 1975 deserve their own mention. Proof cents were made in smaller numbers for collector sets, and they were struck with exceptional detail, cameo, and deep cameo finishes, where the frosted devices contrast against mirror-like fields, are especially prized. A standard proof might trade for just a few dollars, but a high-grade deep cameo can reach into the triple digits. These are small treasures that highlight the beauty of the design and the skill of the mint engravers. Era coins from 1975 are also part of the story of center strikes, double dies, and other striking mistakes are all possible, and some of these eras can fetch substantial premiums. A double die obverse showing strong doubling on the date or lettering could easily bring hundreds, depending on clarity, and grade off-center errors can also range from modest amounts to well over $100, if dramatic, and retaining full date visibility. Clipped plankets and die cracks add variety and intrigue and keep collectors on the lookout. Another factor is the copper content itself, since pre-1982 cents contain mostly copper. Each coin holds about 2 cents worth of metal value at today's prices, while it is illegal to melt them for profit. This intrinsic worth means that even ordinary worn 1975 pennies have a base level of appeal, and collectors often set them aside in bulk bags or rolls with an eye toward the future. The 1975 penny may not have a rare reputation, but it captures a moment in American coinage history. The nation was preparing for its bicentennial celebration just a year later in 1976, when quarters, halves and dollars would carry dual date and special reverse designs. The penny, however, retained its traditional look, quietly bridging the past and the future for many people. The 1975 penny was simply part of everyday transactions, but for collectors today, it can represent a charming link to that era. Now the price of circulated coins remain worth only 1 cent. Uncirculated red mint state examples average between $5 and $15. High-grade MS-67 pieces can bring several $100s, and exceptional MS-68 red examples have been known to exceed 3,000. Proof coins range from a few dollars to over 100 in cameo and deep cameo form. Era coins, like double dies or major off-center strikes, can command hundreds. Next up, the 1972 Lincoln penny is one of the most talked about coins of the memorial reverse era, and it owes its fame to the existence of one of the strongest doubled die obverse varieties in the entire Lincoln cent series. While billions of ordinary 1972 cents were struck, making the basic coin extremely common, there exists a remarkable subset of coins that display dramatic doubling, and these pieces are among the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever produced in the 20th century. First, we should understand the context of the year. The 1970s were a time when inflation was rising in the United States, and the penny, though still useful, was already beginning to lose some of its purchasing power. The Lincoln cent of 1972 retained the traditional composition of 95% copper with 5% zinc and tin. The obverse continued to bear Victor David Brenner's portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse showed Frank Gasparo's depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, with the seated figure of Lincoln at the center. The Philadelphia mint was the primary producer of 1972 cents, and unlike Denver, which struck coins with a D mint mark, San Francisco, which produced proof coins, Philadelphia issued billions without any mint mark. Because of the massive mintage, most of these coins remain extremely common in circulation, and many are still found in pocket change. Today the coin weighs about 3.1 grams, has a plain edge, and measures 19 millimeters across. Just like other copper cents of the period, the excitement comes from the double die obverse variety. This occurs when the working die receives a misaligned impression from the hub, resulting in visible doubling of the design features on the famous 1972 double die. The date shows clear separation and thick doubled lines, especially on the 2, the 7, and the 2 in the year. The word liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" also show heavy doubling, with letters appearing distinctly doubled to the naked eye. This doubling is bold and unmistakable, unlike many minor double dies that require magnification. It is this dramatic appearance that has made the 1972 double die one of the most desirable coins in modern numismatics. Collectors who discover such a coin can be looking at a small fortune. Auction results show that circulated examples of the major double die can still bring hundreds of dollars, while uncirculated mint state coins easily climb into the thousands. A certified mint state red example has been known to sell for more than $3,000, while superb gems can exceed $10,000 at major sales. This proves that even a humble penny can turn out to be a genuine treasure asterisk. Besides the famous double die, there are also lesser double die varieties of 1972, which collectors catalogue as numbers 2 through 10. These are far less dramatic, but they still hold some interest and can bring modest premiums from enthusiasts who specialize in variety collecting. They might trade for several dollars, or a bit more depending on clarity and grade. Asterisk ordinary 1972 pennies without errors are still worth looking at in mint condition. A typical circulated piece is just 1 cent in value, but uncirculated examples with strong red color can sell for a few dollars. A red mint state 66 example might fetch around $50 to $100, while the very finest MS-67 red coins are rare and can bring several hundred. A proof version was also struck at the San Francisco Mint, and these proofs, especially in cameo or deep cameo grades, can trade for $20 to $100, with top quality examples going higher. Asterisk era coins from this year beyond the famous double die include off-center strikes, clipped plankets, and die cracks. Each of these carries its own premium depending on severity. A dramatic off-center strike showing much of the design missing but still retaining the full date can easily fetch $50 to $100 or more. Collectors love these unusual mistakes because they showcase the minting process gone wrong. Asterisk the intrinsic value of the coin also matters, since pre-1982 cents were struck primarily from copper. The 1972 penny contains nearly 2 cents worth of metal value at current copper prices, though it is illegal to melt them for profit. This gives the coin a kind of built-in floor value that has led some collectors to save them in large numbers. Asterisk the 1972 penny has become iconic among treasure hunters. It is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin that most people overlook can turn out to be a highly valuable collectible. The thrill of finding one of the bold double dies in a roll of pennies or in pocket change continues to inspire new generations of coin collectors. Asterisk now the price of ordinary circulated examples are worth face value only. Asterisk uncirculated red examples range from a few dollars to $50 or more, with MS-67 red coins fetching several hundred. Asterisk San Francisco proof issues can sell between $20 and $100 depending on cameo quality. Asterisk the famous double die obverse variety is the crown jewel, with circulated pieces worth hundreds, mint state coins worth thousands, and superb gems bringing well over 10,000. Next up, the 1967 Lincoln cent is more than just another copper coin from the mid-20th century. It was produced during a unique chapter in American coinage history, and for that reason it holds special interest among collectors. Although billions of these pennies were minted and most are worth only face value, there are certain conditions, errors, and special versions that make some examples very valuable. Asterisk to understand the 1967 penny, we need to look back at the coin shortage of the mid-1960s. In 1965, the United States Mint decided to remove mint marks from all coins in order to discourage hardened collectors had been saving huge numbers of coins based on mint mark varieties, which caused circulation shortages. The policy remained in effect from 1965 through 1967, and therefore none of the 1967 pennies carry a mint mark, regardless of whether they were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, that makes them all appear identical, even though they came from different facilities. This historical detail is part of the reason collectors pay close attention to these dates. Asterisk another significant aspect is that proof sets were not made in 1967. Instead, the mint produced special mint sets, known as SMS coins. These coins were struck with more care than normal circulation strikes. They feature sharper details, smoother surfaces, and sometimes a cameo contrast that appeals to collectors. The SMS coins of 1967 are a distinct category, and in high grades they are considered much scarcer than regular business strikes. Asterisk the composition of the coin remained the same as it had since 1909, 95% copper with 5% zinc and tin. This heavy copper composition gives the coin a weight of 3.1 grams and a solid ringing tone, When dropped on a hard surface, the obverse continued to show Victor David Brenner's portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse featured Frank Gasparo's depiction of the Lincoln Memorial with the seated figure of Lincoln just visible between the columns. In everyday circulation, the 1967 penny is extremely common. Most examples found in change are heavily worn and hold no premium above face value, but condition changes everything. Collectors look for red mint state examples with full luster free of marks and spots. A typical uncirculated coin in mint state 64 or 65 can be worth between a few dollars and about $20. Red examples in higher grades like MS66 may command $50 or more. The very finest known examples, graded MS67 red, are very rare and have sold at auction for thousands of dollars. In 2008, one such gem sold for nearly $5,000, which shows the potential value hidden in this year. The SMS coins are another story. A special mint set penny from 1967 in SP67 or SP68 grade with deep cameo contrast can be highly desirable. Typical SMS pennies might trade for $5 to $20, but exceptional pieces with strong eye appeal and cameo surfaces can bring several $100s. The best-known SMS penny of this date reached well over $5,000 at auction, which demonstrates the intense demand for top-quality mid-60s special issues *era coins. Add further excitement. Collectors have documented examples of 1967 cents with off-center strikes, broad strikes, and die breaks. A dramatic off-center coin retaining the full date might bring $50 to $100, while more subtle errors may add $10 to $20 to the value. A double die variety, though less well known than the 1972 double die, does exist for this date and can bring strong premiums if clearly visible. Another interesting factor is the context of the times. The nation was deeply involved in the space race, with major events unfolding, and coins of the late 1960s became part of the everyday backdrop of American life. The 1967 penny circulated widely in commerce, and yet it also carries with it the story of a mint struggling to balance production with public demand while experimenting with new approaches like the SMS program. Collectors today often underestimate the 1967 penny because it is so common in worn grades, yet specialists know that high-grade mint state red examples are genuinely scarce and worth pursuing. Likewise, the SMS coins provide a field of study that connects to the evolution of modern proof coinage, which resumed in 1968 after the 3-year hiatus. The absence of mint marks adds a layer of historical curiosity, reminding us that the government once went to unusual lengths to keep coins in circulation. Now, the price of circulated coins are worth only 1 cent. Mint state red examples in MS 64 to MS 65 grades can bring $5 to $20. Higher grade MS 66 red coins may reach $50 or more, while MS 67 red pieces can exceed several thousand at auction. Special mint set coins generally sell for $5 to $20, but deep cameo SP68 examples can climb to several hundred or even past $5,000. Era coins, such as dramatic off-center strikes or clear double dies, can add anywhere from $50 to several hundred, depending on rarity and demand. Next up, the 1962 Lincoln cent belongs to the long-running Memorial Reverse series, and at first glance, it seems like an everyday coin from the early 60s, struck in enormous numbers and often found in jars, drawers, and collections of wheat and memorial. Since the 1960 penny is not rare in worn condition, however, when we step back and examine its history, its varieties, its minting story, and the extreme premiums paid for top-grade examples, we discover that this coin deserves more attention than it usually receives. The coin kept the composition that had been in use since 1909, 95% copper mixed with 5% zinc and tin, giving the center weight of 3.1 grams and a solid ringing tone familiar to anyone who has handled older copper cents. The obverse features the enduring portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design had already been in use for more than half a century. By 1962, ingot one of the most enduring portraits in American coinage. The reverse shows Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, which had been introduced in 1959, replacing the earlier Wheatear's reverse. The tiny seated statue of Lincoln is visible between the columns under magnification, and this detail remains a favorite talking point among collectors. Asterisk to primary varieties of the 1960 to penny exists the Philadelphia issue without a mint mark and the Denver issue with a small d mint mark. Under the date, Philadelphia struck more than -100 million, while Denver produced over 1.7 billion coins. This means that in total more than 2.3 billion 1962 pennies were made, which explains why they are still so plentiful today. Asterisk in circulation, most of these coins are worth only 1 cent, but condition and variety can transform value. Uncirculated coins with original red color and full luster are what collectors seek. A typical red mint state example in MS64 or MS65 may sell for about $10 to $20. In higher grades like MS66, values can climb to $50 or more. At the very top, MS67 red examples are extremely scarce, and auction records show sales in the range of several $1,000s. One particularly superb MS67 red sold for more than $10,000, making it one of the key condition rarities in the entire memorial series. Asterisk proof coins were also issued in 1962 at the San Francisco Mint. These proofs were struck with polished dies and multiple strikes to achieve mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. A typical proof may sell for $10 to $30, depending on quality. A cameo proof showing frosted design elements against mirror fields may bring $40 or $50, and a deep cameo with strong contrast can easily exceed 100. High-grade proof coins in PR69 deep cameo are rare and highly prized by registry set collectors. Asterisk era coins are another fascinating element of 1962 cents. Double die obverses and reverses exist, although they are less dramatic than the famous 1972 double die. Still, they attract variety specialists and can trade for $20 to $100, depending on clarity and condition. Off-center strikes are more obvious, and dramatic examples can fetch $52 to $100, especially if the full date is visible. Clipped plankets and die breaks add variety and modest premiums as well. Asterisk the context of the times adds depth to the story. The year 1962 was a moment of cultural and political change in America. The Cuban Missile Crisis unfolded that autumn, and the space race was accelerating. Coins of that year circulated in an economy that was rapidly modernizing. Despite all the dramatic events of the time, the humble penny remained a daily companion to millions of Americans. It bought candy, it filled parking meters, it jingled in pockets, and piggy banks. The 1960 to penny is a tangible connection to that era. Asterisk today, collectors approach the 1960 to cent in different ways. Some save them in bulk simply for their copper content, which at current prices gives each coin about 2 cents of intrinsic value. Others search rolls for high-grade red examples in the hope of discovering a gem that could be worth hundreds or even thousands. Still others pursue proof sets and varieties to complete specialized collections. Each approach reflects the versatility of this seemingly common coin. Asterisk now the price of circulated examples are worth only 1 cent. Asterisk mint state red examples in MS64 or MS65 range from $10 to $20. Asterisk MS66 red examples may bring $50 or more, while MS67 red condition rarities can reach thousands, with one record above 10,000. Asterisk proof coins range from 10 to 30, with cameo proofs worth 40 to 50 and deep cameos often above 100. Asterisk era coins, such as double dies or dramatic off-center strikes, can bring 22 to 200, depending on severity and grade. Asterisk every penny has a story, and as we have seen, even the most ordinary-looking Lincoln cents can hold surprising history and value, from the copper-rich coins of the early 60s to the dramatic double die of 1972. These coins remind us that treasures often hide in plain sight. So the next time you come across a handful of change, take a closer look, because one small cent might just carry a big surprise. If you want to know the exact price of your coin and where you can sell it, let me know in the comments and I will guide you there. Thanks for watching.